I just finished celebrating Mass here on this Easter Sunday, toward the end of the Easter tide. Again, in a closed, empty church. Celebrated the mystery of Jesus Christ risen from the dead. The readings this morning remind us that even in this time of Easter joy, that we recall the suffering of Christ, and we recall that it is only through the cross that he moves to the new life of the resurrection. Isn't that a very, very realistic and, in a sense, comforting reading for us? Because we are still in the midst of this coronavirus. Still, people are dying. Fortunately, far fewer, but still people are dying. We are not finished with this. And so to realize that in our suffering, that we're united with Jesus who triumphed and is risen from the dead, just grounds our Christian faith in the reality of life. It's not pie in the sky. Our Christian faith is not that we forget about it and we just pray that we get to heaven. It's basically, how do we unite ourselves with Jesus Christ here and now? And how do we take what's going on in our lives personally, as a world, as a city, and how do we see that through the prism of Jesus Christ, who is the Son of the Father, who took on our human flesh, walked our land, was crucified on Calvary's Hill, and then raised from the dead. That mystery is even more profound. The sad part is that we can't reinforce it now by the celebration of the Eucharist together. We can't reinforce it by the physical closeness in which we experience that communion of saints even more. But we need it, and it's real now. And it also is reflected in the work that I've been very proud to witness and to see and to talk about at Catholic Charities. Just this past week, I had to make a presentation. And in the past 8 weeks, in the name of the Church, Catholic Charities has done 39 new distributions of food, pop-up pantries throughout the metropolitan area to provide people who've lost their jobs, lost wages as a result of the impact of COVID-19, and distributed over 7,000 bags of groceries to hungry New Yorkers, provided over 80,000 meals to people who otherwise would not have had those nutritious meals. Well, all of that is tied up in the mystery of our faith. All of that is part of the mystery of the Incarnation, that God didn't save us aloof from our humanity and expects us to participate in our human endeavors, and as part of our faith, to when we can, where we can, however we can, to allow our neighbors to live in even greater dignity, because that reflects the image and likeness of God that is deeply embedded within them. We pray, God, that the deaths, the hospitalizations, the infections continue to decrease, and we pray that it may decrease even more rapidly. And we pray that shortly we may be able to gather again to receive his body and blood in the Eucharist, to hear his word. But we are still in solidarity with one another. We still pray for one another, even though we might still be and are socially distanced from one another. The Easter season is growing to a close, but the risen Lord is not growing to a close. He lives and he reigns, and he invites us, even in our uncertainty and our suffering, to unite ourselves not only with his cross, but the new life that brings life and transformation to our world.